What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Hockeytown University. You are here with us once again, Derek and Zack. But Derek has finally risen. He is back. What's up, Derek? How's it been?
Buddy, it's been a long time. I've been either dying from food poisoning, been stuck at a golf outing, work. God, don't work second shift because you end up not having a life after that, especially working 12s, buddy. Dude, 60 hours a week isn't nice. The paychecks are good, but God, my body feels like it's an 80-year-old man right now. But I'm back. It's good to be back. It's good to be watching some hockey. This is the first podcast I got to be on since we basically started, I think, going live with the season. So, and what a season it's been so far. I'm pretty excited. How you been doing, Zach? Because, woo!
I'm currently riding on the Red Wings to the playoffs train, buddy, especially after yesterday's game. I mean, yeah, it's been a very exciting start to the season, especially if you're a Red Wings fan. For hockey in general, it's been great as always. For me, nothing's really new. Just another beautiful weekend, taking the dogs to the park. It's freezing outside, 39 degrees. Have my winter hat on. It was horrible. I hated it. Making bets I shouldn't be making. Same old, same old. So nothing really too new. But no, glad to have you back, bud. Matt is not here today. Clearly, AP is not here. Obviously, he will be back on whatever next day that we record. I'm not exactly sure yet. We got to figure that out. But yeah, thank you for joining us once again. If you are returning, if you are new, thanks for joining us. We really do appreciate it. If you guys don't mind, though, make sure you are hitting that subscribe button and you are hitting the thumbs up button. YouTube algorithm really does appreciate that. Gets us out there more. So we do appreciate it. If you are on Spotify, make sure that you are following us and you are rating us 5 stars. Frown upside down. Right, Derek? Nice. Yeah,
Gotcha.
we missed the octopus. We really did. We talked about it a couple times. um, let's go ahead and jump into things. So minimal around the league news, but it is Detroit related. We got some Red Wings news that Derek will go over, talking about Grand Rapids Griffins players, and then we will talk about our main topics, obviously, which will be covering the last 2 games: the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Ottawa Senators game that was yesterday at 1 p.m. It's currently Sunday, 10:15 a.m. So yes, yesterday on Saturday. And then we will be slightly talking about the game that will be happening today against the Calgary Flames at 5 p.m. Eastern time. Derek, buddy, let's go ahead and jump right into it, shall we? Let's talk
Let's do
about
it.
the one. Let's talk about the one around the league news that we have that we probably could have covered last episode, but we just decided not to. But we did have an episode dedicated to this specific player that still isn't signed yet. That is very much close to an Alex DeBrincat on the Detroit Red Wings, and that would be Patrick Kane, who is still weighing his options on which team he wants to sign with. News is currently that hopefully within the next month and a half, maybe 2 months, Patrick Kane will figure out where he's going to go. He wants to go to a Stanley Cup contending team, quote unquote. So let's talk about the teams that are being weighed in on acquiring a Patrick Kane via signing him as a free agent. Would be the Buffalo Sabres, the New York Rangers, and the Detroit Red Wings. Derek,
Yes.
initial thoughts on that?
I mean, I like the way we put it. The cup contending teams, and guess who's up there? The Red Wings. That's a nice little thing to hear there.
Yeah,
At the
haven't heard that
same
in a while.
time, I know, right? As I go through here, like the Rangers are sitting 3-2 right now. They're still doing pretty well, and I don't know what Buffalo is sitting at. Do you know what they're doing right now?
Bottom of the Atlantic.
Ooh,
Yeah,
yikes.
ouch.
Yeah, they are 2-3. Well, honestly, still not terrible.
No,
Let's be
not
honest. The
bad.
Atlantic Division's doing pretty well right now, with the worst being a two-game or a 3-game loss. So, but still, it comes down to it. How do we really feel about getting a old Chicago player that we've hated for so long to the Red Wings with a Patrick Kane? That's a really good question right now, because at the beginning of the season, when these rumors started, I thought it might be a good thing, because obviously with last year, the Red Wings needed a scorer. We would put so many shots on net and we just couldn't get anything in the goal. But the start of this season, as we could see with yesterday's game, It's a complete turnaround. We're popping in goals left and right, and our shots are bare minimum. What do we have? 23 shots yesterday and 5 goals?
Yeah.
Like, the quality of our shots is beyond recognition right now. The Red Wings have did a full 180, and I love to see that. But what does that play into getting Patrick Kane right now? My whole thought was, okay, we'll bring in another goal scorer and that can pop him in for us. But it's like, I don't know if we need that at this point. Obviously, 5 games in, can't say it's going to continue this way for us. But by the time it's probably going to come up to us signing him, we'll probably be at least 10, 15 games in. I want to see what we're looking like then, and I'm going to guess Stevie's probably thinking the same way. Like, do we really need to drop $5-6 million for 2 years on one player? It's a hard choice right now. I really don't know. I'd say, would it be a bad thing to have him? Not at all. But then we also got to look at our lines now, too. Because we have DeBrincat, Larkin, and Raymond on our first line, and it's been outstanding. And if Kane comes in, he obviously probably wants to play with DeBrincat, so we would have to push Raymond down again, which I wouldn't be bad at all. Because then we would just have the most stacked lines, and it would be beautiful to watch. But I like how we're doing right now. First line doing well. We got a big play with Raymond now who can actually use his body, which is great to see. We got a goal scorer. We got an assist. We got our defensive second line that's able to control other teams' second top lines, which is what I've been waiting for. Because obviously we don't got the offensive talent to be able to pull off our second line like we really want to. So Lalone did something great by making it a hard defensive line, and it's keeping up with all those top second lines out there, which is a beautiful sight. So I really don't know where Kane's going to fit in this algorithm under the Stevie plan, but would I say no to getting him for cheap? No. I would take, if Kane wants to come over for $4 million for 2 years, yes. I'll slap that down real quick, and hopefully I can put him on our second line, and he'll be okay with that. But, man, I really don't know how I feel about it anymore. I'm back and forth right now, Zach. I am really back and forth.
Yeah, I guess the main question here is, I guess I should say this first. The Red Wings haven't played a game where they haven't scored less than 4 goals. Every game that they played in, they've scored 4 goals or more. So goal scoring currently is not a problem. The question is, how much longer can the Red Wings sustain this goal output, right? As you get further along into the season, the start of the season is phenomenal, right? Like, this is great. Like, no changes would be made currently whatsoever, even if Patrick Kane really wanted to come to the Red Wings. But the only option would probably be, all right, well, we got room on the third line. Okay, fine. However, as the season continues, injuries are going to start coming up, right? So there's going to be players in and out of the roster. There's going to be some mixing of the lineups, and then you got to start figuring out what you need to do to prepare a little bit better. So you got to start asking yourself, if you're Steve Yzerman, I guess, or Lalone, whoever, do we really need more goal scoring on this team? Currently, no. In the future, maybe. But we have so many good NHL veteran players. I don't think that adding a Patrick Kane, the goal scoring would continue, right? That's great, but your defensive play would technically go down since he doesn't really play any defense. And you're right, Derek, like, that top line is doing really well. The second line is doing really well. That's a defensive shutdown line, right?
Yep.
And then you look at the third line. I mean, that's Veleno, Sprong, and Perron. I really don't see how you can make any changes there, especially how well Veleno played last night. Granted, he is a center, but Daddy P got a goal. Daniel Sprong got an assist. They just look phenomenal. So currently, I don't see any room for a Patrick Kane, to be honest with you. I think it would make more sense for him to go to a Buffalo or a New York Rangers team who are not really doing the best currently starting out the season. But like I mentioned, it's a long season. A lot can happen. A lot can change. And so for Patrick Kane, he's also from the New York area. So Buffalo would make the most sense considering that's kind of his hometown. New York, really just outside of that. And I really don't know what Patrick Kane is really looking for. Is he looking for a top line to play on? I don't think either of these teams would give him top line. I really don't. Any of these 3 teams.
Even with his
You might
production
be.
in the past, like he's 34 years old now. He is an offensive player. Like you will get some goals out of him, but his production's not going to be the same as it was, especially after another surgery like this one. Like, I mean, you could come back at probably tops. I'm going to say 95% what most people will do after a surgery like this, like at your peak. And being at his age right now, that peak is long surpassed. That's usually if you're like in your early to mid to late 20s that these surgeries you can come back from. He's coming back, but I don't think we're going to see the same Patrick Kane that we have been for the last few years. So he's definitely not going to be. I wouldn't put him on the first line. Like it's just something that I can't see happening for any of these teams right now.
Yeah, unless there was like a major injury to like a Raymond, maybe even David Perron. Our depth on the right side really isn't the strongest. So unless there's a major injury where either one of those types of players are out long term, maybe for like the whole entire season, then I would consider getting a Patrick Kane if you really do have aspirations to make the playoffs and be a quote unquote contending team for the Stanley Cup. Do I think we're a contending team for the Stanley Cup? By no means, no. Or by all means, no. Sorry. But I do like I said, I'm riding the train for us to make the playoffs. I know that it's very early in the season. It's only game 5, but they have the number 1 power play, and we'll talk about that more later down the road. But yeah, for me, I would love to have a Patrick Kane. I think that's a nice shiny toy to have on your bench, on your lineup. But currently right now, I really don't think it's necessary, and you don't fix something or try to fix something that's not broken, right? And right now the Red Wings are buzzing and they're not broken whatsoever. So let's go ahead. Or do you want to speak one last thing on
I
Patrick
would
Kane?
say like we have one broken person, but can we say we didn't see
Yeah.
it coming? No. It happens
Yeah,
quite a bit at this point.
yeah, and okay. That's a good segue for it, Derek, because we're just going to go into Red Wings news, and the Red Wings news is Robby Fabbri is now out for a month due to injury. Obviously, Derek, do you know? I should have looked this up. This is really bad on me. Do you know what the injury is for off the
I
top of your head? I do
I
not.
saw Derek's comment. It was a lower body injury that's going to keep him out for like 3 to 4 weeks, I guess.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I do know that it's not ACL or anything like that. So that's great to hear. That's awesome because
we'll
that
see
would
him
be his
back at
fourth
probably the
goal.
end of November at least. But at the same time, we knew it was going to happen. Like it's just his mo at this point. He gets injured. He might just be made out of paper and sticks at this point. I'm not too sure. He's doing
Yeah,
well though when he's playing. That's the hard part because obviously he's getting like his goals have been kind of meaningless. Not to say any goal is meaningless, but a lot of the goals have been coming at the very end of the games when we weren't going to get anything about him anyways. Like New Jersey, obviously, we saw him score a few at the end. Didn't do anything for us because we were so far down anyways. But he's still for a third liner. Sorry, he was still putting up production, and I wasn't too upset. Obviously, right now with our third line, it's looking pretty good still too. But
yeah,
man, paper bones, man. I don't know what's going on with that poor kid.
yeah. I appreciate what Robby Fabbri brings to the team and what he does on the ice. I'm not his biggest fan though, and I'm not really even. I personally, I really don't want him on the team. That might be a very bold comment to make. Being on this podcast, I'm sure I'll hear it in the comments, but Robby Fabbri is just one of those players that, like you said, Derek, like he's made out of paper, made out of sticks. He's basically a glass house, right? You throw one stone on it and the whole entire place crumbles. He, ever since we got him from St. Louis, during his time in St. Louis, he's missed quite a bit of time. He's never played a full season in the NHL. Gets injured minimum one time per year. I would not be shocked if he gets injured again throughout this season. Part of me with Robby Fabbri is I think he just goes a little too hard, and that might sound ridiculous to say. He's a grinder, right? Like he loves to play the game and he goes out there full hearted, right? But that's kind of what gets him injured, right? Every time I see him out there on his shift, I feel like that he's somehow laying down on the ground because he just goes too hard and just gets in those scrums and just like gets himself in positions to where he can get injured. Not saying that like, oh, because he did this, that's why he got injured, but it's just happening. And unfortunately, for me, I've been saying I think Robby Fabbri needs to be traded, but what are you going to get for someone who can potentially get you 20 goals and is going to miss maybe 20 games in the season? So I really don't know what to do with Robby Fabbri at this point, other than just let his contract run out. But I don't know. Hopefully Robby Fabbri can just stay injury free for the rest of the season when he comes back and just continues doing what he's doing. But I mean, when he even comes back, I don't know where you're going to put him on the roster. Granted, we still got another 3 to 4 weeks to see, but if the boys keep going the way that they're going, it's going to be tough to insert him back in the lineup. He will be that fourth line player at that point. Would you agree with that?
Oh yeah, I only way I do see him coming back into the lineup after this injury is on the fourth line. He's not gonna get that third line minutes anymore, just because of the injury, just because of how well the team is playing. Again, depending on what they're looking like when he comes back in and what he looks like as well. So it's got a lot of factors are gonna play into this, but at the same time, if you're going off of what we see right now, it's not looking good for the longevity of him.
Right. All right, Derek, why don't you go ahead and talk about the Grand Rapids Griffins for a second here? What do you got for us, buddy? What's some
Grand Rapids
outstanding news on them?
Griffins. Ooh, so we're not doing too bad right now. Our prospect pool is looking good down there. We are sitting at a 50% winning record, but at least it's really against the same team because that's what the first 4 games are against, the Colorado Eagles.
Yeah. So weird, dude. That was so weird. We were talking about that before we started recording, that like they basically are doing it like how they do in baseball. You just play the same team four games in a row and then see ya. All right, no longer seeing you ever again.
I'm not going to play again the rest of the year. Don't know why that is, but we started off strong. 2 wins against them in their home rink. But going into this week, we lost the last 2 on Friday and yesterday. So yesterday, Grand Rapids Griffins played Colorado Eagles at their home rink. The Griffins ended up losing 3-6. But the good thing is, with what we're seeing, even in these losses, the players that we want to see produce, they're producing right now. So on the 20th, we had Marco Casper, William Wallander getting their first AHL goals. We had Taro Hiroshi extending his point streak for 3 games with the third goal. And just to throw it out there for him, on his 200th pro game, Morgan Rafferty got an assist out there too, which is really nice to see for him. Congrats to you, buddy. And then coming in that night was Hutchinson, who was goaltending for us with 35 saves, 6 goals on 42 shots. Not the greatest, but again, 35 saves is still pretty good for just getting ripped on nonstop all night long. Wish it would have came out with a win, but what can you do in certain situations like that? And then we'll jump into yesterday's game. Again, another loss at the Colorado rink, 1-2 Eagles. Cross Hannes with the only lone goal for the Griffins, but again, one of those players I want to see their names popping up a lot because Cross Hannes was doing great in the preseason game.
Prospect tournament preseason games. Yep.
Looked great out there. That's one of the people I wanted to see his name popping up a lot, and boom, look at that. The only goal scorer for last night's game. But then I'd say the real champion of our AHL right now, we got Sebastian Cossa sitting nice and pretty after 2 games. He may have let 2 in last night, but 31 saves on 33 shots. And right now with those 2 games, his record is sitting at a 2 goal against per game, which is not bad. I know 2 games in, he's only played 2, not doing terrible. And if someone can let me know, because me and Zack were going back and forth on this, he is technically sitting at a 2.02 goals against per game. Where does that 0.0? If anybody can answer this for me, where does that 0.02 come from? Because if you look at his record, 2 games, 4 goals. I'm sorry. Did someone
2 goals? Yeah, it's 2 goals each game, so it's 2 goals against average, right?
So confused on this one, but whatever. I'll put down what they have, but I also put down what I wanted to say. So it's only 2 goals against. And that's on 72 saves on 74 shots. And he's sitting on a .947 save percentage, which is just outstanding to start a season. And if we remember what he started in his first AHL game last year, Woo! That one scared the living shit out of me because I thought like, okay, yeah, Costa. Oh God, there it goes. That's not what I wanted to see. But then, of course, he went down to the ECHL, destroyed it down there, and that just obviously we had to bring him up at that point again to try his luck. And I'm seeing a good movement from the ECHL to the AHL. I like to see this. By next year or 2 years from now, I'm hoping Kosa is going to be either our playing backup or even our starting goalie if he keeps this up. So it's good to see that starting off the season for them. Doing well over in Grand Rapids. 50% right now, but again, 4 games in, things could get a lot better. So we'll keep you guys updated on that too as the season goes on.
Yeah, and nice work there, Derek. Yeah, thanks for updating everyone on how the Grand Rapids are doing. Yeah, we did talk a little bit on Kosa last episode. I know you weren't here, but that's completely all right because it's a complete no. I mean, like going from the ECHL going to the AHL really is that's a climb, right? And that's difficult. That's not exactly easy. So you gotta be really, really happy with the way that Kosa has been playing, right? Like it's only been 2 games, but a 2.0, well, we'll just call it a 2 goals against or average, right? So, and then a save percentage of 947, like Derek said, that's very, very impressive. Especially like how Derek said, like last season, like he played in 3 games, and I think his save percentage was like 887 or some crap like that. So it wasn't spectacular at all. It was very, very blah, not even mid, worse than mid. I don't even know what's worse than mid, just horrible. So, but I do want to give a shout out, and this is one person that we didn't talk about, and it's not a player, but it's the coach, Dan Watson. I mean, he came from Toledo with Kosa, basically, essentially, came up being the coach to Grand Rapids, and so far it's been good with all these young players, right? I mean, they have a lot of young players on the team. I mean, you got players like Taro Hiroshi, Austin Zarnik's currently with the Red Wings still, but you also have like players like Wyatt Newpower, Tom Gettinger, some of these older players that have been around a little bit and can actually provide a little bit of leadership to these young players. You look at players like Jonathan Berggren, who has 3 goals in 2 games. You got Simon Evanson, 2 goals in 4 games. Cross Hannes has 2 goals in 4 games. So these young players are getting in there and they're getting points and they're doing their job so far. And it's looking really promising. I mean, I'm very happy with what Dan Watson has done so far. Granted, they've only played against one team, but I'm very excited to see how the rest of it goes throughout the season, playing against other teams and who's going to jump out, really? Who's going to be the best player other than Taro Hiroshi, who has 5 points in 4 games? I want to see one of these young players come out and just become not a superstar, but in terms of AHL, right? Like, who's going to be the one that sticks out and says, I'm one of the best players in this league. Y'all need to bring me up into the NHL because that's what we're looking for, right? And that's what we've been waiting for pretty much ever since Lucas Raymond when he joined the team. I mean, I guess you could say Elmer Soderblom last season, but he's only got 1 assist in 4 games currently. I don't know what that man's got to do to kind of turn around and become that player once again and shock us. But overall, I really like what Dan Watson is doing. Like I said, I know it's early in the season with just 4 games, but I think as the season goes along that a lot of these players are going to be looking really good, kind of like how they are right now. Do you have anything else to speak on this topic, Derek?
I mean, you're right. We're just waiting to see who is the one player that's going to pop off greater than the rest. We have a stock prospect pool right now down there. So it really just time will tell who is going to be the best player, and whoever that best player is, without a doubt, will be brought up to the Red Wings really fast because that's just what we're looking for.
Yeah, and that's what some of these players need to start realizing is that eventually there's going to be like a Marco Casper situation, right? Like if there's going to be an injury in the middle six, like let's say if Veleno goes out. I mean, you could put Cop there, but you're still going to want to call someone up that can play in that middle six, and that would be Marco Casper. Marco Casper has to start doing a little bit better. I don't watch the game, so I really don't know how he's been doing. I do think that he's been playing as the 3C in Grand Rapids. He needs to start putting out a little bit more, based on what I'm seeing on elite prospects terms of points. But for those of you that are watching Grand Rapids Griffins games, let us know what you think of him so far, playing in his technically first season with the Grand Rapids Griffins after suffering a blown out kneecap last year playing against the Toronto Maple Leafs. So Marco Kasper, stay safe out there, my dude. We need you to come up eventually, but yeah, eventually they're gonna get Carter Mazer back too. So hopefully that'll make them a little bit better and overall as a team. And we'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully one of these players just becomes the type of talent that we need to insert onto the Red Wings and has a good start to his NHL career.
Here's hoping.
All right, Derek. We're hoping. Let's go into our main topic, shall we? And that's talking about the previous two games. Since the last time we spoke, we said that the Pittsburgh Penguins we would be playing against, and that was on Wednesday, Derek. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe that was on Wednesday. The Red Wings did win 6-3. And then just like we mentioned, the Detroit Red Wings played the Ottawa Senators in Ottawa yesterday at 1 p.m. and won by a score of 5-2. Derek, I don't know if you knew this. The Red Wings have the best power play in the whole entire league at 50%, scoring 9 times out of their 18 times in 5 games. How ridiculous is that? If you could just describe it to the fans watching and listening, how disgusting is it that the Red Wings are scoring all these goals and they're scoring them within the first 30 seconds of the power play, much like last night or yesterday?
Oh, dude, it's just insane. Just put it in perspective for everybody. If you're 30% on your power play, you're doing pretty well. Like 33%, you score every 1 out of 3 times. You're doing great. That's usually what you want at the end of the season. You'll see that. 50%, that's just, it doesn't happen. Like, it's a beautiful thing to see, especially for the Red Wings who've been suffering so much over the last couple of years on the power play and the PK. Not really suffering, but not even mid-range, really. We are always at the bottom middle for all these things that we've had for the last few years. Right now, we're sitting number 1 in the NHL for our power play at 50%. That's just insane. We are just loading these shots. We have a great first power play unit now. God, DeBrincat, Larkin, Raymond, Gostisbehere, and who's our fifth guy? Side. Oh, yes. Jesus, how did I forget that? God. It's just beyond set up for everything to go right out there. And right now, the best person I've been seeing out there, besides, DeBrincat's doing well and Larkin, I love the addition of Gostisbehere out there. Holy crap, the guy has a cannon. Yeah, his shot goes in every time on the power play. I'm like, whoo, that's what we need to bring. I'm pretty sure he is our, 3rd point leader on the team with 6 points right now, 2 goals, 4 assists.
Yeah, so let's talk about the points that some of these players have real quick. So Dylan Larkin currently leads the team in points after yesterday's game. He's actually tied 2nd in the whole entire league with 4 other players for most points. Dylan Larkin has 9 points, 2 goals, 7 assists. DeBrincat right behind him with 5 goals, 3 assists, 8 points. Shane Gostisbehere, 2 goals, 4 assists, 6 points. So you're right, he's currently 3rd, and Moritz Seider really isn't too far behind him with 1 goal, 4 assists, and 5 points. Andrew Kopp's got 4 points with 3 goals. JT Compher's looking really good, too. He's coming as advertised with 4 points. Joe Veleno, huge surprise with 2 goals that all came on 5-on-5 yesterday. He's got 3 points in 5 games. Daddy P's got 3 points. Spronk's got 3 points. Lucas Raymond's got 2 points. He looked really good in yesterday's game, too. Had a couple opportunities. Rasmussen, 2. Petrie, 2. Wallman, 2. Fabbri, 1 in 1 game. Point per game player. We love to see that. Ben Sherrod even has a point out there. We love to see that. Austin Czarnik, 1 point. Mata, 1 point. Fisher, 1 point, who gave a really, really nice pass to Veleno to finish it in yesterday's game as well. It was a really nice pass. Justin Hall is pointless. Yeah. Justin Hall, pointless, and Kleem. He prefers Kleem, not Klim. Just so you know, Derek. Kleem Costin, pointless, and he was also a healthy scratch. Actually, not a healthy scratch. But Derek, sorry, I basically cut you off reading off those points, but continue on with what you were saying earlier. I apologize.
Oh, God, what was I saying?
Basically about the power play, like how ridiculous it is. But basically, like we know that the 50% isn't sustainable, right? Like we understand that. Like you said, the 30% is about where you want to be. But do you think that this is something the Red Wings can continue as being a dominant power play team?
I mean, from what they're showing right now, like the stats, the team, like everything going the way it is all melting together to make a perfect souffle right now. Because, oh my God, obviously, you're right. 50% is not attainable. You can't keep doing that. It won't keep happening. Would I love to see us end the season with a 50% or higher rate on our power play? Yeah. I'm not
Oh
going to
yeah.
say I wouldn't. It'd be the glorious thing ever. And it would set NHL records too, let me tell you that. But right now, as long as they keep the momentum they're at, I can't see why it can't be high 30s to even 40% still by the end of the season if they keep going the way they're going. Obviously, we played some good teams. We played New Jersey, and that wasn't even a bad game. We just unfortunately don't have a Jack Hughes, and New Jersey's and Carolina are up there with being the top contenders for the Cup this year. So if we're playing that well against a Cup competing team like that, and our power play still looks great out there, guy, I can't say that if we don't hit at least 35% this year or higher, there's a problem. Because with what we have, it's looking good.
Yeah, no, I don't think that the 50% power play is sustainable. But I really love the fact, and I said this at the start of it, right? Is that I love the fact that we are scoring these power play goals within the first 30 seconds. I mean, the first power play that the Red Wings had in yesterday's game with only 3 shots in the first period, kind of already talking about the Ottawa game, even though we're supposed to talk about Pittsburgh. But, anyways, yesterday's game was just so lit that I'm just so hyped up for it, dude. Oh my goodness. I almost considered watching the game again after it was done because I loved it so much. But no, I mean, with the first power play, they scored within 5 seconds with a Shane Ghost-Bear he basically clapped it in there right through the slot. It was amazing, and it was just exactly what we needed. And Ottawa led that whole entire first period, right? I mean, with a goal in the power play by Jake Sanderson. Jake Sanderson looks legit, and that contract extension looks better and better as the season continues on. So congrats to him for getting the bag, and congrats to Ottawa for securing him for on a good deal. But we'll just have to keep on waiting to see. But before we continue in the Ottawa game, Derek, let's go ahead and talk about the Pittsburgh Penguins game. The Red Wings did win 6-3. Highlight of that, Alex DeBrincat and Dylan Larkin did post 3 points. Alex DeBrincat 2 goals, 1 assist. Dylan Larkin 3 assists. Andrew Kopp 2 goals. Jeff Petrie 2 assists. Ben Sherrod 1 point. Austin Zarnik 1 point. Shane Ghost-Bear 1 point. Daddy P 1 point. And Michael Rasmussen 1 point. Derek, one thing that I'm noticing is that we're getting multiple players on the score sheet, right? And it's being spread around, right? It's not just your top line or your second line that's doing it. It's a lot of everyone, right? The love is spreading on the Red Wings lineup. And we love to see that, right? It seems like everything's going right in the right places. And the team in general, the boys are buzzing. I can't stop saying it enough. They really are. I'm going to make that into a t-shirt, I think.
The boys
It's
are
just
buzzing.
weird. The boys are buzzing with the Red Wings. Just have Captain Dylan Larkin on there, the alternate captains, and maybe special other ones. I'm a big Mo Sider guy. So yeah. About that game though, Wings technically did not start off really well by letting in a goal in the first minute of the game. They did bounce back pretty quickly though. They did get one right after that first goal, which was great to see. They're not right. And that was one of the things that we've seen in recent past, right? Is that even if the Red Wings did let in the first one, it did take them some time to kind of rebound and get that goal back, right? Or we would just be lagging behind for majority of the game. Not this Detroit Red Wings team, though. When they get scored on first, they answer back quick. And they did that against Ottawa as well, even with only 3 shots on net. They bounced back pretty quickly, but the second period in general was by far their best period where they scored 3 unanswered goals. And then you go into the third and they get 2 basically empty netter goals with Pittsburgh trying to climb back up from a 4-1 deficit to make it 4-3 with the final 5 minutes left. Thoughts on the game, Derek? I know that this kind of happened quite a few days ago, and you probably don't remember what happened in the game, but
Oh, I unfortunately remember quite a bit because I was
all
watching
right.
it at work when I was really bored on my computer. It was great.
All right. Yeah. So what were your thoughts on the game? I mean, it was a good game overall, and I thought that the team as a whole, I mean, Alex DeBrincat looked lethal out there. Dylan Larkin showing us he can be that 90-point player or 100-point player, whatever you want him to be. But just tell us a little bit about the game, what you thought of it.
I mean, hell, Larkin at this point is close to like 2 points a game at that. If he wants to get
Yeah.
160 points this season, I won't say no.
Right. Do it up. Do it up, buddy.
I will get your face tattooed on my back if you do that, Larkin. Just saying that right now. If you hit 160, your face will be on my back.
I will pay for that to happen. I will pay for that. On the record. On the record.
And it's recorded too, so we can't get rid of this. I mean, we can, but we're not going to. So
that's what it means by on the record, buddy.
I'm a little behind. Let me be. But back to the game itself. I can't lie. The first period was kind of hard to watch because it kind of gave me old Red Wing vibes. We weren't pressuring enough. We were kind of getting ran around by the Pittsburgh for the first 10 minutes at least. I mean, I'm happy to bring out that goal to make it evened up, but the rest of the period just wasn't at the top tier where the Red Wings should be. Second period came around. They proved me completely wrong and started doing exactly what I was hoping they would do. 3 goals unanswered, back to back to back. I'm like, okay, that's like that second period, pure. Everybody was doing exactly what they should do. Perron, I love that goal in front of the net on the power play, smashing them home. I'm feeling that is just going to be his home from now on. Just stick Perron in front of the net because he did that on Wednesday. He did it last night too. Like, put him right there. He smacks it home every time, even though they shouldn't probably go in. I know we're talking about Pittsburgh, but that Ottawa goal last night, I don't even know how he got anything on that shot, and it looked beautiful.
Yeah.
But it's a good mixture right there. Obviously, the third period came around. Pittsburgh picked up a little bit more momentum, coming back within 1 goal. They made a mistake at the end by pulling the goalie and ended up getting Kopp his second of the night and DeBrincat his second of the night, I'm pretty sure. So I will take a win where a win is given. Did I like the game completely? No, the Red Wings could have played a lot better, but a win's a win, and we can walk away with our heads held high on that one because it all came together. We played where we needed to. The defense was strong. We ended up having a win, so I'm okay with the outcome of that game. Wish we played better, but not bad outcome.
Yeah, there's just something about this Red Wings team, right, where it's almost like that they really want to feel out their opponents in the first period, right? Where it's like they're not playing. I don't want to sit here and say that they're not playing up to speed with their opponent, but they're almost watching, observing, and learning as they go in that period, right? And that kind of seems to be the trending story where they don't have the greatest first period. And I tweeted this on our account yesterday. What the Wings needed to do in the second was tighten things up, get a couple more shots on net, continue doing what they're doing, let the Sens continue doing what they're doing. That will create more opportunities for you. And that's exactly what happened. And they did it in this Pittsburgh game too, where they had 3 unanswered goals in the whole entire second period. They dominated the Pittsburgh Penguins basically in the second period, and even in the third period, minus the fact that they scored 2 goals and ours came from 2 empty netters. But still, our defense, honestly, and with good goaltending, well, Husso was kind of mid that game, but still, no matter what, with decent goaltending and good defense, this is what happens. And this is what the Red Wings need to continue doing. Maybe have a better, strong first period as you continue along the season. But if you continue to have dominating second periods where you're scoring 3 goals, it adds up. And it's going to come out to being victories for you guys.
I mean,
let's go ahead and move.
Oh, sorry, Zach.
No, what were you going to say? Go ahead, buddy.
I was going to say, just because you brought him up, Husso there, how are we feeling on that? Because I know me and Matt were talking a little bit of poopsie after that first goal right away, and after that, because of his record for the beginning of the year, wasn't looking too strong. But after that goal, and after me and Matt wanted to talk shit for some reason, he ended up proving us wrong pretty well. And then
Yeah,
we
I mean, after
game, like, how are we feeling right now on the Huso train? Like,
after yesterday's game, he now currently sports a 901 save percentage. Or some. Hold on, I should pull it up. I shouldn't just speak ill on that. Hold on, I'm pretty sure it's 901.
I mean, if it's above
901.
it's
Okay,
better.
I'm right. Okay,
Love it.
there we go. So in 4 games, 304 goals against average, a 901 save percentage. I it's I will admit at first he definitely had me nervous that we were going to be dealing with another Nedeljkovic, right? Where he did good in his first season here. Now that the second season is here, he's kind of disappeared. That's kind of what I thought was going to happen. Same thing with kind of what Nedeljkovic did. And I'm sure that's exactly the reason why Steve Yzerman went out and got Reimer and Lyon in case something like that did happen. I don't know what it is. I don't know if that's just like a Red Wings curse where you have one good season here, decent season, and then you just kind of fall off a little bit. But for me, Huso is fine, but I don't think that he is the solution moving forward after this season. I maybe would sign him one more year, but if you want to continuously make the playoffs now and have that kind of a standard, you're gonna have to upgrade in net for sure, because or at least get a backup that is similar pace to a Huso, or just get someone that's a little bit better and then Huso's your backup. Yeah, I like him so far. I think he's doing fine, especially with the team playing as they are in front of him. I don't care how many goals he lets in, as long as we continue winning. That's what I want. So I think he's fine. I know that's a very boring answer. But yeah, I think it's fine. Derek, speak. Because I got nothing else.
Like, I like to drown a little bit longer before I step in. But I mean, I'm on the train where it's like, obviously the Red Wings are producing well on the forward end, where we're scoring enough goals that obviously it doesn't. At this point, he can let in 3-4 goals a game and we can still win. But that's not what a playoff contending, Stanley Cup contending team is.
Right.
You need to have that goalie in the back to help save at least 1 to 2 more goals a game to be able to push you in that direction. And if we get that, oh my God, the Red Wings are obviously beyond a force to reckon with at this point.
Well, and he did that. He did that in yesterday's game against Ottawa. He only let in 2 goals, and he left them scoreless in the whole entire second period, I believe. I could be wrong on that once again. I'm not sure, but but you know what I mean. Like, I think for him, it's going to be he's going to have good games and he's going to have bad games. As long as you get a win, at least for me, I really don't care. It sounds like it's the same for you, but like you're saying, you can't do that if and when you do make the playoffs. It's not a recipe for success. So he's got to tighten up a little bit. But yesterday, dude, he stood on his head. He was one of the better players out there, considering that they had well over 30 shots on net on us, and we had
7 shots to be exact.
And we only had 3 in the whole entire first period, and Korpisalo let in 5. So I'm sorry, but continue. Go ahead. I cut you off once again.
No, you're good, because that's still funny. Because 37 shots they had. Oh, I'm thinking of yesterday game. I mean, even we'll stay on Pittsburgh for now, but still, 33 shots. What was it? 3 goals? Not bad. He stayed alive there. That was a good little showing. And then I guess we can jump in a little bit because we talked Pittsburgh down to the key, and the real one we want to talk about right now, obviously, is Ottawa, because that's the big one.
Yeah, let's talk about that game.
But 37 shots. Only let 2 goals in, and you were right, Zach. Completely scoreless for Ottawa in the second period. We got 2 goals. They got 0. We had Shane Gostisbehere in the first to tie it back up. And then we just come out, score another goal 30 seconds in on the power play again. Like, I love this. I love if we could keep this team right here that we just played against Ottawa, we are a force to reckon with. Like, nothing will change. If nothing changes, this is a playoff team. I can't say anything less than that right now. I mean, obviously, the shots on net, I want to see that go up tremendously. But if you're going to put in 5 goals, I'm not going to complain. I think the big thing is with me and Matt, we just got to start talking smack about teams, because me and him were talking smack. We're not even smack. We're actually talking up Ottawa's goalie last night. Like, wow, he just seems so keyed in right now. Then right after we send that message, it's like, oh, there's the goal. Oh, there's another goal. Oh, there's another goal. Matt, we
Poor
just
Jonas Vucasala. Poor Corpy. Oh, poor man. Yeah. A lot of Sens fans thought that he was going to be a really good goaltender for him. I really do think that first period really did mess him up. I think only having 3 shots on net kind of got him a little tight in net there. And
3 shots, Ottawa's 1 goal.
Ottawa's defense really wasn't fully there. And, with all the penalties, there were, I'm pretty sure there were 11 penalties that whole entire game, Derek. And that was a lot. And there were a lot of bad calls throughout that whole entire game. On both sides, too.
I mean, God, I'm still tightening up, freaking out. I think that's what I messaged everybody the most yesterday. Like, what kind of fucking calls are they making out there? I'm like, is that it? That's a trip? No. He literally held the stick between his leg and fell. That's a trip? No, he slid into the... What's happening right now, refs? I'm like, the one ref really called that boarding penalty. It was boarding, yes. I'm not going to
center ice ref.
Yeah, but he called it from freaking center ice. The 2 other refs standing right there were like, nah, we're going to let that go. That's not that bad. And it wasn't that bad. I would have let that go. Then there's that slashing call that, what was it, Larkin did when that was a cross-check. I'm like, come on. It was a slight cross-check, yes. But whoever it was that he did it just kind of flipped himself and fell on the ice. Like, these are calls that, go 5 years back, you would never see get called. It's just, you don't stop game for that. So what? He lost his footing because he got tapped. Boo-hoo. You can go up to him and tell him to skate harder. You're getting paid millions of dollars. Don't fall.
And there were a lot of calls, too, where there would be scrums, and it seems like it happened more so to the Red Wings, and I could be wrong, but I'm not doing this because I'm biased. I mean, obviously I am. I do a Red Wings podcast, but whenever there were scrums, there would always be an extra player on the Red Wings team that would get charged, right? And that would put Ottawa into a power play. I don't like the fact that if you get in a scrum, or if you, let's say an Ottawa player like Brady Tkachuk goes up to someone like Moritz Seider, tries to fight him, and then Moritz Seider or Rasmussen comes in and defends him and then tries to fight Tkachuk. I don't think, personally, we should have been penalized for that, considering Brady Tkachuk was the one who started it. If you are the instigator, I think you get the 5. And then someone like Rasmussen, I think you should get a 5 as well. But the Red Wings should be going on a power play, personally, in my opinion. And I think that should be standard around the league. I don't think it's fair to just... And it's the same thing with just regular scrums, right, Derek? And we've seen it time and time again in today's NHL world with these referees. That's... The calls 75% of the time do not make any sense at all. And we've been complaining about this for quite some time now. And I don't know what needs to be fixed about it. But yeah, overall, there were just way too many power plays, penalties in general in that whole entire game yesterday. And it kind of disrupted the flow of what a lot of fans really wanted to see in this game, right? Like, at first, it really did look like that it was a playoff game. It was very close in terms of, play. It was 1-1 after the first. Granted, the shot differential was dramatic. They had a lot. We had none. But it was a very fun game overall, right? And it got me on my seat quite a few different times. And Husso stood on his head. Veleno got 2 goals. He was the only 5-on-5 goal scorer that whole entire game. So even if you took away all the power play goals, the game would have been tied. But we converted 3 times on 5 of our power plays. I'm pretty sure Ottawa only converted once on their 6 that they had, or 2 out of their 6. I don't know exactly what it is. Overall, the Red Wings in general, even though we were outshot, were the better team throughout the whole entire game. Outside of the first, honestly. But towards the end of the first, I thought that they looked really good. Yeah, Rasmussen fought Tkachuk. Larkin loves to take jabs at Ottawa players. Larkin also got 3 points this game. Shane Ghostbear got 2. Daddy P got 2. Seider got 2. Veleno got 2 with the 2 goals that I just mentioned. Fisher with an assist. Like I said, Pat made a really sick pass to Veleno on that. And then Daniel Sprung as well. So like I said, even about the Pittsburgh game, you're spreading the wealth on the scoring chart, right? And so we love to see that. I loved what Huso did, especially when you were on the PK, what seemed like half the whole entire game. So overall, it was a really good effort by Detroit Red Wings game that they got knocked out by this team, basically out of playoff contention. If that's what you want to say, I thought that they were already kind of out of it based on the injuries that they had before going into those two games. But Derek, overall, what do you think that this game had a bigger meaning than it did, and it wasn't just another game?
See, I'm at the point where are we? Because I know there's been a tremendous amount of shit talking going back and forth between Detroit fans and Senator fans right now. And let me tell you, it's a lot of fun. I can tell you right now, I'm going to have a lot of fun just chirping at people just because we won. Then they can shit talk all they want with, hey, shot more, they produce more. Like, no, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, your quality of your shots is better than your quantity, and the Red Wings outdid it on that. The only thing I was missing from that game, and what I really wanted to happen, was DeBrincat put that puck in the back of the net so bad.
Oh yeah, man. I honestly thought all the old players from each team. I thought Kubalik was going to score. I thought DeBrincat was going to score. I did get the Larkin one right. Like I said, I placed a couple bets and they didn't work out. I am a betting man, but I never win, so I don't like to say I'm a betting man. But continue on. I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off.
Well, that's what I was trying to get to. I want to know, it's like, because I know the fans are starting this little rivalry. Is it going to happen between the team itself? Like, that's what I want to know, because we're going to have a situation where it's like Red Wings against Colorado. Like, are they going to be that upset with us that we stole their best player off their team? Because obviously, doesn't look like there's too much animosity really between DeBrincat and the other team. I mean, there was a couple little
I don't
up there, but
I don't know, dude. You saw that hit that they laid on him from Ridley Greig, whatever his name is. I mean, that was.
I saw him getting in with Brady a little bit. I was like, is
Yeah.
this happening? Like, I'm not gonna be upset if Ottawa's gonna be our most hated rival in the entire league, because that'll be fun. Mainly because we stole their best player from them just because he really didn't want to be there anymore. And
Whoa, careful, Derek. A lot of Sens fans that are watching this will be mad if you say Alex DeBrincat was their best player. They got Timmy Stützle, they got Brady Tkachuk over there, man. Those are players way better than any Red Wings players. That's what they say. So be careful, dude.
You can say it all
might
you
come
want,
for you.
but let's look at the stat sheets right now. DeBrincat against your entire team. How's Tkachuk doing out there? Because I can tell you right now, he's on my fantasy team, and I'm a little upset with them. So I don't know how Sens fans are feeling right now about him. The worst part is, I think I have 3 Ottawa players on my fantasy team, and it's not looking good for me.
Yeah, I do have Jake Sanderson on one of my teams. I'm in 3 different fantasy hockey leagues. Yeah, I don't know how I got dragged into that. Typically, I only do 2. I do my own and I do one other one. But yeah, somehow I got dragged into. Oh yeah, I got dragged into Alex Peterson's our new part-time hire here. He asked me to do one, and dude, that draft took like 2 hours. Like, it was horrible. We have like a full 23-man roster on that fantasy hockey league. Yeah, it's fun, but it's very low scoring too. But anyways, yeah, before we continue talking about fantasy hockey, but I overall, yeah, I mean, Tkachuk did get an assist. Good for him. But with all the smack talk that Ottawa Sens fans, and especially on social media, that they did to us last year after those 2 games, and to this offseason, even leading up to the game, the amount of smack talk that Ottawa Sens fans gave to us, I really don't know where it started. I don't know if it was the media just portraying us as better than the Ottawa Senators. None of us as fans ever once said that. Now we kind of do. And we showcased it, right? I think we're technically better than the Ottawa Senators. And we were saying how much depth that this team had. And I think that that's what really took us over the edge, was the amount of depth that we have and how we just took over that game, right? I mean, it was clear as day. Like I said, Joe Veleno, 2 5-on-5 goals as their 3C. that's what you need, especially when your top two pairings or top pairings, your two top lines. I mean, like Larkin got 3 points, but a lot of those came on the power play, right? So if you didn't have the power play, Joe Veleno would be the unsung hero with Ville Husso, right? Larkin did get the first star of the game, but I personally probably would have given it to Joe Veleno. Personally, I think he looks freaking fantastic lately.
I mean, if the refs played the game like it normally used to be played, it probably would have been a big different outcome. Would we still probably have at least one of those goals on the power play? Yeah, I do believe
Yeah.
so, since we knocked two in literally within 30 seconds of the power play starting. It's just going to happen. But yeah, Veleno killed it. Husso killed it. Ottawa lost, and it made me so happy. Just all that shit talking came to fruition, and man, it bit Ottawa in the butt hard. Whew. This could be a fun little matchup here on out, because obviously I don't know next. Let's see, when is the next time we play Ottawa? Looks
December 9th. We were just talking about it last night because you asked me to go to the game on the 7th, and I was like, well, you should just get tickets for the 9th. That's better. And it's on a Saturday, so I actually will try to go to that game. I think that will be fun.
Buddy,
Hopefully they don't do to us what we did to them in their home arena.
Oh, that's a Thursday. That's when you can. November 16th, actually, they play next at home.
Against the Sens?
Yeah. November 16th.
Oh, I must have skipped that. Whoops. Okay.
And I think
my bad.
might be at Ottawa, actually. The 12-9 one.
Yeah, because we play in division teams 4 times, I believe. At least 4 times, and we play every team in the league once. So that makes sense. So if that's in Ottawa, obviously I won't be going to that, but I'll be going to the one that's in home. Which is December 9th. You want to get
tickets to the 7th and come with me, because I'll be there.
Maybe. I did look up the prices on those tickets. They were pretty cheap because they are on a Thursday. They're like 20 something bucks, but we'll see. I don't know. Ask me when we get closer. Actually, I won't be able to. I'll be out of town. I got to go travel for work that week. I just realized. Yeah, so we'll get it figured out. Don't worry, buddy. But no, going back to Veleno, there was a lot of talk. I mean, whether if that's us or in the fan base, a lot of people seem to thought that there might not have been room for Veleno on this roster unless he was going to be the 4C. I mean, he signed a very minimum low deal to be with the Red Wings for 1 more year in the offseason, and it's proving to be working. I mean, he's showing out, right? I mean, we already talked about how many points he has in his 5-game stint, and he is really living up to what we expected him to be, right? And I do think that he could be a 3C for us going into next season. If we were moving forward and we're in the off season, I would definitely give Joe Veleno, if he continues doing what he's doing, and if he gets 30 to 40 points, I'm giving him 3 years, maybe 2 years, anywhere from like $2 to $3 million. That's what I would do. And I know that you already have Kopp and Comfer, but that second line so far with Rasmussen up there, I'm not breaking that up. I like that shutdown line. I like that defensive line. I don't know why that just turned off on me. So yeah, that's what I would do for Veleno.
I mean, yeah, he made his prove it deal, and he's proving it hard right now. The kid is working out there, and you can see it. Like sometimes he's working a little too hard, I would have to argue, because I can see he's trying to do these moves, try to do like he visualizes in his head. Like his IQ is there, but his body is just not doing exactly what he wants to do just yet. But again, he's going to find his stride. It's game 5, and he's producing right now. And so once he finds his complete stride out there, I feel like he could do even more. So from what we're doing right now, I love this prove it deal. He's doing what he needs to do out there, and we're going to keep him for at least 2 to 3 more years. So hopefully he continues this.
Yeah, and he's got to continue doing it because you have players like Nate Danielson and Marco Kasper knocking on the door here eventually. So, Joe Veleno, keep doing what you're doing, and you'll be just fine. I promise you. Worst case scenario, you put Kasper and Nate Danielson on your wing, and you're the one leading that line. That's kind of what the Red Wings want, right? And they even said Joe Veleno is one of those players who never complains about anything, right? He doesn't care if he's playing 4th line. He doesn't care if he's playing top line, how many minutes he's getting. He's average. Last couple of games, I've noticed he's putting up 15 minutes per game, playing as a 3C. So he's he's going to ask for a pay raise if this is how it's going to continue being for him. So we'll just have to wait and see. But congrats to him. Congrats to the Red Wings for a 4-1 start to the season. And, let's continue that. Let's continue the pace. Let's keep scoring 4+ goals a game. The Red Wings do play today against the Calgary Flames at 5 p.m. Eastern time. So, Derek, what's the game plan for the Red Wings heading into today's game after playing against a tough, rugged team like the Ottawa Senators? What exactly are they needed to do since this is their first back-to-back game of the season? And I don't think it's been released yet who's going to be in net, if it's Reimer or Lyon, but I would assume it's Reimer, considering he put out a shutout. But I wouldn't be surprised that it's Lyon, because you have to get him playing time, right? And what's the game plan overall for you, buddy? What do the Red Wings need to do?
Well, if we want to start with the goalie, I would like to see Lyon out there, especially because obviously we have to get Husso some breaks. He played 2 great games in a row. Take a break from that, get a rest. I'd like to see what Lyon can do for us. Obviously, Reimer got a shutout his first start, so it's going to be hard to not choose him, because that's something you want to keep seeing, especially against a team like Calgary, who isn't the top tier in the league. One of the, I would say, more bottom middle right now, so nowhere probably near as good as Ottawa is, but we have to come out playing exactly like we played against Ottawa. I think that's one of the big things the Red Wings used to do in the past, is they always play down to the team that they're playing, to their level, and we got to stop doing that. We just got to play at the level that the Red Wings know they can compete at, and we saw that yesterday, and they bring the same momentum into today's game. They're going to blow them out like 6-1, and I would love to see that.
Yeah, and I honestly do agree with you with that, Derek. I mean, you got to keep playing the way that you've been playing. You have to play tight. If you got to play a slower first period like you've been doing, to where you're just reading the team, like I said, you're kind of understanding how they are as a team and just reading them, be my guest. As long as you're not letting in 3 goals, right? And that's a tough climb to come back from. But for a Calgary Flames team that's 2-1, the Red Wings 4-1, you're obviously the better team going into it, right? And so if your power play can continue on the hot streak that you started doing so far in the first 5 games of the season, I see no reason why you guys can't, or the Red Wings can't blow them out, why the Red Wings can't blow them out, right? Just like how they've done with all these other games. I think for this game, it will come down to goaltending. If it is Lyon, it's his first game, so might be hit or miss with him. I really don't know. If it's Reimer, he's already gotten a shutout against a Columbus Blue Jackets team, which is great. I would love to see him against a team that's a little better, just to get him kind of rolling too. But I don't know. Overall, like I said, though, I think the Red Wings will be fine. This is their first back-to-back game of the season, so the boys might be a little sluggish out there to start. And I mean, playing a 1 p.m. game on a Saturday to then playing a 5 p.m. game on a Sunday, I feel like that's got to be kind of brutal on the boys, right? Like that's a lot of hockey within 48 hours. Actually, within not even 48 hours, within a day and a half, basically. And so, Derek, score predictions? What do you think?
Well, I did say I'd love to see a 6-1 game, but I'm going to go with the 4-1 Red Wings winning this one right now. Is it in Calgary or is it home?
It's at home.
It's at home. Oh, Jesus. That does suck for the Red Wings having to travel from... That means the Red Wings finished their game, got on their bus, got on a plane, came home. Now they get to wake up, get ready. I mean, at least it's 5 o'clock game, over 24 hours. They got a little bit of break. Get used to the time zone transition, I guess, but I feel like they're so used to it at this point. That's what they do all the time, so it's not that big of a deal. So I'm saying 4-1 Red Wings with Husso probably making... Not Husso. I think Reimer's going to start, and I'd say he's going to get like 22 out of 23 saves. Play well tonight. I see it going that way for him. I'm hoping for the best.
Okay.
I want it to go like excessively higher, but it's the Red Wings. They're coming off a win, big game, big win. Let it be easy, but I still think they're going to dominate.
If you had to pick one player that's going to score this game, what player are you picking to score?
DeBrincat. He didn't score yesterday, so he's probably just like flourished inside. He's like, I didn't score against the team I just left. I wanted to do it. Now he has all this energy that he has to blow one into the net today. Actually, I'm going to call out Brinket gets 2 today. One off a penalty
Okay.
and then one just 5-on-5.
You know what? That's a very good call out because I do think that Ottawa definitely had a game plan to shut DeBrincat down, and I think that kind of led to their downfall a little bit. I don't think Ottawa really realized how deep our team was, and that comes with depth, right? And we talked about that, but no, good call out. Okay, so DeBrincat had 2 goals, and you're saying 4-1.
4-1.
4-1. Okay. I'll say, oh boy, I'm gonna make it spicy. I'm gonna say that it's closer. I'm gonna say it's 2-2. I don't know if Ottawa or Calgary played yesterday, but I'll say 2-2. It goes into OT, and the Red Wings win 3-2. And I do think that I'm gonna say Michael Rasmussen gets a goal.
Okay.
How about that?
I'll take that.
Why not? Why not? Just because he's Moose and I think he deserves it. God, I got to move this mic and stop hitting my chin on it and turning off my microphone. All right, Derek. I believe that's it, buddy. I think we're done. Do you have anything else you want to speak on before final thoughts, or you just want to go into final thoughts?
Let's get into final thoughts because I've already gave my 2 pieces on how I feel about. I guess I kept a little composed how I feel about Ottawa, but at this point we won, so I don't need to shit talk them at all. It's only if we lost I would shit talk a little bit more. Come on.
Overall, it was a pretty good game. I was nervous. I thought Ottawa had it. But yeah, you're right. I don't think we really need to go into much more depth than what we already did. Red Wings won. That's really all that matters. We're currently, currently the better team. Suck on it, Suns. All right, Derek, final thoughts, buddy.
Final thoughts. Let's keep this up, Red Wings. Huso, I want that record to keep just climbing up. You got your backup goalies that can kind of do something. We saw what Line could do last year. Reamer is starting off well. Get a rest today. Come back strong again. I want to see that 9 point. I want to see .92 by the end of the season for you, buddy. That way we know we actually have a goalie. But let's go Red Wings. 4-1 right now, baby. Let's make it 5-1 today. Let's keep this buzzing going, as Zack would like to call it. I love this.
Always a buzzing.
You know what? Let's get DeBrincat 2 goals and Rasmussen even score a goal. Let's just be both right today at least one time.
I like it, buddy. I like it. Yeah, let's get it going. Those are your final thoughts?
Final thoughts.
All right, I don't know if you guys can hear my dog barking. My neighbors are moving. They're loud. My final thoughts are go Red Wings. Hot start to the season. The boys are buzzing, Derek. The boys are buzzing. We like to see it. We love to see it. Yeah, Sens, unparalleled success. The Red Wings, yeah. Good reference there, huh? Yeah, how's that going for you guys? There's my shit talking right there. All right. Yeah, other than that, hopefully a good game tonight against the Calgary Flames. That's pretty much it. Keep it up, boys. Keep doing what you're doing. We appreciate y'all for stopping by. Make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you are hitting that thumbs up button. Make sure you are following us on Spotify, and make sure that you are rating us 5 stars. Frowns turn upside down when you do it. We appreciate it. All right, Derek, let's close off. And until next time, we'll see y'all on the next one. Goodbye.
Night, everybody. Morning, bye, evening, whatever you want to call it.